I knew it. I knew there would be one. Ultra rare, so sapphire black. They hardly made any of them. This year, it is an itch that I need to scratch.
And if you want to buy one, you should buy this one.
How do you always end up picking me up in a different country in the coolest car? What's happening here?
It's insurance, it's Chubb insurance.
I need your connections.
Yeah.
How do I land in Brussels and get a 911?
If our clients have an accident in a Porsche, obviously it's the worst thing, but we've got a limit in the policy that enables them to go and hire something similar to what they drive, and Performance Car Hire are our supplier. We recommend them if a client wants to. They can go wherever they want, but they have a fleet of 911s, Aston Martins, Ferraris, Bentleys, Range Rovers, everything you can think of.
Cool car. Big fan. So let's go in, check in, find some cars. We are now the evening before the Interclassics event actually opens. And this really, between us, is when the real sales take place. So tomorrow the event is open to the public, which will be great, but everyone who's in this room right now has been sort of invited as VIPs and potential buyers. And what they do is they end up putting on this really flash event. They get a Michelin star chef down and they cook amongst the cars. So they lay out all of the tables, cook amongst the cars, and while the dinner's going on, people get up from their tables and go shopping. And I've got a heavy craving for a manual conversion M3 CSL. I think it's a long-term keeper. I'm on the lookout for one. There might be one here, so we're going to see if we can find one. Well, actually, the reality of it is I've been looking for an M3 CSL, and then I found this.
Yeah, this is a much better option, yeah. Yeah, what else could you want than an F40?
Just think about this, 400 grand in 1999, 2 million now.
Yeah.
It's better than most property investments, isn't it?
Not as practical, but a lot more fun.
Not quite as practical.
Yeah. But it is a thing of beauty, isn't it?
You can't track day a house, Ryan. You know? Well, look at what I found. An E30 M3. This is the closest that I've found to a CSL so far. I'm not actually convinced that there's one in the room, but we'll keep looking. However, highly cool. What's funny is to think that the first generation M3 had less than 200 horsepower. How crazy is that? They're around about 1,200 kilograms. It was 2.3 litre, naturally aspirated, 6-cylinder. I guess because it was light, it managed to get away with it, but can you imagine an M car today with under 200 horsepower? Bonkers. It's got a carbon lid. It probably looks black to you, but all of that is exposed carbon in the paint. That's really cool. Look at this, it's got a carbon wing on it. The whole ducktail's carbon, look. XJ220 here. Don't see those often. These things are over 16 feet long. Seen it? Talk about a wheelbase. How ridiculous is that? It's massive. When it's around other cars, normally when you see these, they're sort of out on their own. To see it next to a normal car, it's like a whale. It looks like a Dakar with a roof box on it. Yeah, check that out. Oh, it's not a roof box, it's a roof tent. All of the road regulations and laws and crash testing, that has now become this defined rule book which outputs a very similar shape all the time. I mean, sometimes I'm driving along and I'm like, is that a Kia? Is that a Daewoo? Is it a Volvo? Is it a Volkswagen? They all just look generally the same. Like there's no particular exciting design language about it. Look at that. Like, I know it's such a cliche saying that they don't make them like they used to, but what is that? They do not make them like that anymore. Thankfully, supercars are still within the realms of being creative, but daily drivers, I don't know, they're all just homogeneous blobs, aren't they? This is an original De Tomaso, and they would come up with names like Pantera, What are they called now? The Kia Ceed. Come on. So I've just seen this. That's what it's all about. That is everything. 800 kilograms. There's battery packs in hybrids that are heavier than that. Yeah, we could do with a bit more of that, to be fair. Despite the fact that it's super light. I wouldn't mind that being a bit closer to 200. Not passing any form of pedestrian impact regulations. It's an actual land yacht. They were not for anything other than look at me, I am driving a spaceship. That's what that's for. Ryan was telling me this is your 10th year as Chubb here.
Absolutely right, yeah. 10 years has flown by, but it's been every year it's evolved.
The first time I heard about this was through Chubb. I feel like I should have known about it because when I turned up last year, the caliber of the cars was unreal.
The client base is phenomenal for us. It's just an area of growth for us.
Yeah.
in the Netherlands, which is just going from strength to strength.
So earlier on, all of the crowds were around these cars, but now, as you can see, dinner is next to a Ford RS200 Rally Legend Group B and Michael Schumacher's Ford-powered Benetton. This is the actual car, and we're all having dinner next to it. That's huge. I didn't quite get the grasp for it last night because that section was closed off.
What, this wall was closed
This
off?
wall was closed last night.
Oh.
Old is gold, right? Old is gold. It's so cool. I knew it. I knew there would be one. Ultra rare, so sapphire black. They hardly made any of them. How are you?
Very good.
Are you good?
Thank you.
I'm happy now I've seen this. I mean, we genuinely didn't know that there would be any M3 CSLs here. And this year, it is an itch that I need to scratch. The plan is, if and when I get into one, I'm going to do the manual conversion.
There's
There
no
we
need
go.
to.
There's no...
It's not as bad as the internet wants to believe you.
Uh-huh.
I know you have experience with the
Sure.
F1 transmissions. If you drive them like a manual, I think it's part of the appeal of the CSL.
Sure.
It's part of it. And if you want to buy one, you should buy this one.
That one, as opposed to the black one.
This is chassis number 19.
19.
19 is the first car that was delivered by BMW to a customer.
So it's effectively customer car one.
Customer car number 1. It had 2 previous owners.
Okay.
It only has 67,000 kilometers, fully first paint, and it's a proper CSL. So it doesn't have the xenons, it doesn't have parking distance.
So it's
park
lightweight
distance
spec.
control.
Yeah.
It's the lightest that there is. There are, I believe 42, 45 of them in this spec, and this is the first car. And we have everything with it. So even the clearance that customers had to sign that they wouldn't drive it in the rain or when it's cold,
Actually.
because of the tires. Everything is with the car. It
Theref-
should be preserved. It should.
Okay, well,
be put a manual
in
on
that
it.
case, then this is probably not the car for me because the first thing I'll be doing is taking out that SMG box.
Otherwise, then that would be perfect.
That's the black one. Do you ever see any differences in value between the sapphire blacks and the silver greys?
Oh, we see 2 kinds of customers.
Okay.
Customers who really want a grey one, or
Okay.
customers who really want a black one. But not that much difference in it.
Do you know what isn't ideal is it needs the third pedal there.
Yeah, it would have been perfect if BMW did that, but
Can you imagine what the values of these would be now if it didn't have
Triple,
an
I
SMG
guess.
box? Right?
I believe they would
absolutely.
triple easily.
Easily. Right?
Easily.
Yeah.
But I also believe that the values of the CSL can double over time.
Yeah, I think
also
so.
as well, because
Yeah.
guys our age
Yes.
are now making a bit of money,
Uh-huh.
and in the future, when they made a bit more, they want to buy one of those cars that they had posters from on their bedroom wall.
Do you think people realize how special this car was when it launched?
No,
Right?
because they couldn't sell them.
Isn't that
They
crazy?
sat on dealer showroom floors, and everyone thought they were way too expensive. And suddenly people are starting to use them because you could get them as cheap as 50 grand here in the Netherlands.
Wow.
And people were driving them on tracks and enjoying them.
And enjoying them,
suddenly
yeah. And then they just went.
They went up, and everyone knows, wow.
This is 93,000
Yeah.
K. So that feels like a project car. You know, that feels like one with enough miles and not too special a heritage that
Could be.
because
we did all the stuff that needs to be done. So
Yes.
it has new shocks,
Okay.
new brakes, tires, rod
Yes.
bearings. We rebuilt the Fanos,
phenomenal.
inspection too. So it has everything.
Okay. Yeah, that
Everything
has
is done.
enough miles on it that you
Yeah.
can drive it.
You can drive
It's really good. Because it would be the first thing would be manual swap and operated brakes. Because the brakes are they're a bit soft, aren't they? Yeah.
They're not the best.
No. Right. What's the difference in price then, out of interest, between what is a historically significant chassis in silver grey
Yeah.
versus a well-driven black?
That one is 160,
160
Euros?
euros.
and this one is 130.
Okay. Right. So it's a 30K swing. It's quite a chunk, isn't it? Actually.
It's a chunk.
The problem is, it's not that it wasn't good at its time. It's just when you step out of a PDK and you've
Yeah,
got these
of course.
paddles in front of you, you're like,
Way
well,
better.
because there is the option to have a really analog experience
It is.
by doing a conversion rather than what now feels like dated tech. If you want a paddle shift car, go for something that's like ultra, super fast.
I get it.
Yeah. The induction noise from that is ridiculous.
Yeah, but you have to see it in combination with the shorter diff, the lighter weight,
Yes.
and then it really
all gel.
starts to compound, and it's not. If you just look at it separately, if you put like one of these on a normal E46 M3,
Yes.
you don't have the experience that the CSL gives you.
Sure. Well, I'm really happy we've seen these. We were walking around last night and there was none. And we were peeking through the glass thinking, oh, maybe there's some in there. We just walked around the corner. I only saw this and you've got two.
Yeah.
So this couldn't have worked out and honestly, audience, this is not planned. We genuinely, as we started filming this, we were like, really need to check out some M3 CSLs. If there was anywhere which would have it, it would be here. And I didn't see any last night. I was like, oh, this video's fallen flat on its arse, hasn't it?
Glad we could.
Very cool, thank you. Not only did that just happen, but with arguably one of the most significant M3 CSL chassis just happens to be sat there. Customer car one, that's the first customer car ever delivered as an M3 CSL. And honestly, that was not, like, genuinely on my life, that was not planned, that wasn't part of any content. I really came here to see if we could unfold or uncover, dig out an M3 CSL. Dude has two, one of them's extra special. So, but the more I spoke to him, the more I definitely realized that the plans that I have for a CSL platform, I don't want, I couldn't do it to that.
No.
You know, I couldn't do it to that one. The black one though, and now it's a conversation around left or right hand drive.